Hello, everybody. My name is Eva. I'm a clinical psychologist at CNews here in Madrid, Spain. And I'm doing this video because maybe you're watching this because even though today we're celebrating the International World Happiness Day, you might not be feeling that happy. We're all affected by this international crisis, the pandemic of the coronavirus. And there's more and more people who are directly affected by it, not just being sick, but losing family members to this disease, being sad because they don't know what to do. Maybe you want to be supporting friends who have lost a family member. Maybe you are yourself in the helping profession and are seeing people die, people losing their loved ones. And this is a very tough situation. So even though normally my job is to help people increase their well-being, increase their levels of happiness, because I'm a positive psychologist, I do want to make this video to give you some ideas on how to deal with this sadness that you might be feeling today. And I want to start by saying that resilience, the capacity to overcome hardship, to overcome difficult times, has a lot to do with something that we call emotional complexity. What is that? Emotional complexity means that you are going through a tough situation and you are experiencing a lot of negative emotions. That can be sadness, that can be anger, that could be helplessness. It could be this sense of, what am I supposed to do with this? And these are all uncomfortable situations and uncomfortable emotions. But at the same time, we might be experiencing a lot of gratitude. We might feel support through online media, through social media, through phone calls, even if you have to be at home. You might feel very connected to the people around us because we actually dedicate more time to reach out. So there might be positive emotions of gratefulness, of connection, of compassion, of empathy that are also there. And that is emotional complexity. Research has shown that people who have both negative and positive emotions, they are more likely to be resilient. So how do we link that back to this need of also addressing sadness? Sadness is an emotion that we experience when we lose something, a person, a loved one, a job, a future, plans that we had. It might be many things that cause us to feel sad. So I want to talk about some specific situations. And first of all, I want to speak to those of you who have been working in the helping professions in the last couple of days and weeks. Maybe you're a doctor, maybe you're a nurse, maybe you work at a hospital, maybe you even had to go home because you got infected yourself. What do we do? First of all, it's not always about saying the right thing. Sometimes we don't have words. There's nothing that can be said as there was nothing that could have been done. So if you are there and you see people die and you see loved ones mourn and cry because they've just loved someone, try to be present in other ways, in ways that are maybe just symbolic. Can't even give hugs right now, so looking each other in the eyes and showing that you really feel with them. This idea of compassion, suffering with someone, that's something that we can do that is beyond words. Touch might not be adequate in these moments, so just looking each other in the eyes and being there and maybe being together in silence to let the other person connect with that emotion that they're feeling, to be there present and just give a couple of minutes of being together in that pain. That can be much more than finding the right words that might not even exist. If you feel that you bring that feeling home, that you come home and you feel sad, you feel overwhelmed by emotions, make sure that you have a space to connect with them. There might be a lot of activity, that want to be active, that wanting to do something. Make sure that you also have a space where you can connect to your own emotions and express them. And even if that is throughout the workday, to find a quiet space where you can sit like this, where your body expresses what you're feeling, where your face expresses what you're feeling. Use those small but important gestures to give some space to your emotions. Because if we are sad and if we're grieving, there's two things that need to be done. Life needs to go on, we need to keep doing things, and we need to have a space for our emotions. If we can get some support from others to show our vulnerability, maybe at home with our family, there is still the possibility to receive a hug. That would be great if you can do that. If you can do it with your colleagues, to maybe have a shared space of just sharing some difficult moments that you lived through without having to say something, just giving us these spaces will give a great deal of support for your whole team. What if the way you're feeling sad these days is because you have lost someone? The same thing is true then. Life needs to go on. We need to keep doing things and move forward, and we need to have a space for our emotions. Normally we have two different tendencies. It might be easier for us to get swept away by the emotions. If that's your case, you will notice that you spend a lot of time crying, feeling sad, and that maybe it's harder to do those small routines, small but important routines. The first days, maybe it's completely normal that you don't really feel like eating. You wake up early. That's the typical insomnia that we get from sadness. We wake up early. Don't be afraid of that. That is normal in the first couple of days. Make an effort to keep your routines up and running. And if you realize that you can't, the emotion is just too present, please do reach out and get some help for those practical things, for get some food onto your table, to have someone do the shopping for you, bring it to you, be there for you, call you, whatever it is that can be done in your current state of confinement at home or not. If it's the other way around for you, if you tend to just do a lot of things, you do the paperwork that needs to be done, you organize people, you call people, you let people you're doing, do the opposite. Give yourself a space to come down, to feel. Maybe sometimes you even need to look at some pictures of the person that you've lost to let that emotion emerge. We might feel a little bit afraid of that, but that's, again, there's no danger in feeling those emotions. You need to feel them, and you could give yourself some very specific times of the day where that maybe is easier, maybe at nighttime. And it's good to feel those feelings, the sadness, maybe the helplessness, maybe there is some anger. That is all normal. And by giving it a space, those emotions actually, they will come in waves. So whenever a wave comes, just be open to it, let it go through you, move through you without blocking it. And then you will notice that it will be easier over time to find that balance between feeling and doing. If you, in the third category of people, someone who has just lost a loved one, someone who is doctor, nurse, works in a helping profession, how can you support them? If we're talking about a loss, in the first days, very many people are there, many people are present. We often tend to say things, to try to say the right thing. Don't forget the actions. Cooking something for them, bringing them food, just do some grocery shopping for them. The calls that happen a week after things happen, not the beginning where they might feel overwhelmed at the level of support. What happens a week after the loss, 2 weeks after the loss, that's when most people need more support. That's when they're even better in being able to answer that very important question, what's the best way to support you in this? And then listen to them. And if they tell you, just give me some space the next couple of days, then give them that space and then call them again. And if you have to ask the question again, ask the question, what is the best way that I can support you in this? I do think that we often forget the practical aspects. So if there's kids at home, maybe if you can still visit, do something with the kids to just give this person who's grieving time where they can be on their own, go for a walk. If that's still possible in your country, then you can do that. If you can't visit because you're in confinement, then give them calls, video calls, where maybe you don't need to talk that much, ask them how they're doing, and just listen, be in silence, be with them, even if there's nothing much to be said. So I hope that this little video, it gives you some ideas of what you can do. There are great books out there. Option B, Sheryl Sandberg, she wrote a very well-researched book, even though she's not a psychologist. It's a good resource. And above all, reach out to others. Don't be alone. There's so many other people who are going through this with you at the same time than you are. And I think this feeling of compassion, of suffering with each other, is one of those big opportunities that we have right now. Please stay in touch with helping professions, with psychologists. If you need some professional help because you realize even though you're trying to keep a balance of feeling and doing, you can't, then get some professional help. Many psychologists, psychiatrists offer their service right now online. Even if you have to stay at home, it is possible. It is very helpful to just be able to talk to someone who's prepared to create a space for you where you can connect to those emotions that might be confusing to you. So please don't discard that option. And if there's anything that you need from us, please reach out.